You've been scrolling through jobs on Seek, you've looked at courses, you've thought about starting a business, and maybe you've even Googled completely random careers at midnight, thinking, could I do that? And for about 5 minutes, you get so excited. And then you start thinking about the money or the qualifications you might need, or whether you're too old to start again, or whether you'd actually even like doing it. So you just close the tab. And then someone you've confided in asks, so what is it you actually want to do? And you honestly just don't know. You're back exactly where you started, stuck and frustrated because you know you wanted something to change. You just can't work out quite what it is. And if that sounds like you, then think about this. Maybe the problem is actually asking the same question. What is it I want? When we're unhappy with something in our lives, particularly in our careers, the question we normally ask is, what should I do instead? What job should I apply for? What career should I change to? Should I study something? Should I start a business? And I know this because I've done the exact same thing many times over. And I've spent hours looking at completely different careers and opportunities and trying to find the one that suddenly makes me feel like, oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But what I've grown to understand is when we don't actually understand what matters to us, almost every option looks right. And then every option can also look wrong. So you just go round and round in circles, every step on replay constantly, and it is draining. And eventually you start thinking that maybe you're the problem. Maybe you're so indecisive, you're being ungrateful. Maybe you should just be happy with what you've got. I think sometimes we spend so much time asking, what is it I want to do, that we completely forget to ask, how exactly do I want my life to feel? And that question changes things for me because there have been opportunities in my own career that on paper look like they're exactly what I should want. More responsibility, more money, career progression. And I've really had to stop myself and ask, what will my life actually look like if I say yes to this? Will I have the freedom that I want? Will I have the time that I want with my family? Will I have autonomy? Will I be constantly stressed? Will I actually enjoy the work? Because I realized that some of the things that matter most to me are autonomy, flexibility, creativity, growth, and having time for my family. So I imagine myself in a job paying me loads more money, but I'm working ridiculous hours. Someone's micromanaging everything that I do. I'm stressed all the time, and I've got no space to be creative. Technically, I might have progressed, but actually, have I created a better life for me and my values? The answer would be a hard no. And that's the difference. So I want you to try something. Forget your job title for a minute. Forget what you're qualified to do. Forget what anyone else thinks that you should do, what your parents think, your partner. Just forget all of it and ask yourself, when have I felt most like myself? Think of a time in your life where you genuinely enjoyed what you're doing. What was happening at that moment? What is it you were enjoying? Were you helping somebody? Were you solving a problem? Were you creating something? Were you leading people? Were you learning? Were you working independently? Were you part of a team? And now think about the opposite. When have you been absolutely miserable? What was missing? Was somebody constantly telling you what to do? Did you feel bored, undervalued, overwhelmed? Did your work take over your entire life? Because those experiences are giving you so much information that you should be paying attention to. They're clues. And rather than trying to immediately come up with your perfect career, I want you to identify 5 things that need to exist in your life for you to feel fulfilled. Not 5 job titles, 5 values. Maybe yours are freedom, security, family, achievement, connection, adventure, learning. Whatever they are, they're yours. So don't compare them to anyone else. And then looking at your life now, how many of those things are actually present? And find the dissonance. Doing this should quickly identify if you actually are confused about what you want, or if you've been trying to choose a life based on what you think you should want. And there is a little difference. And in my experience, clarity rarely arrives as like a huge light bulb moment where suddenly you exactly know what you're supposed to do for the next 20 years. Often clarity is much smaller than that. Sometimes it's just knowing that you don't want to do this anymore, or I know I need more freedom, which a lot of us do want more freedom, or I know I want to create something. That's small, but it's enough to start, because once you know what matters to you, you can then start judging the opportunities against your own criteria instead of everyone else's. And that's where I'd encourage you to start. Figure out what matters and then take one step towards creating more of it. And if you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is exactly where I am, then please do subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of thing that we're going to keep talking about here on this channel. Getting unstuck, finding clarity, actually doing something with that information. And if this video made you think about your situation differently, also give it a like. It helps me know that these are conversations that you want more of. And before you go, please do take advantage of my free values worksheet. I created it especially to help you figure it out. So just type figure it out in the comments and I'll send it to you. Once again, please take care of you, and I'll see you in the next one.